afternoon and welcome to today's vlog for Tuesday 20th of January. I can't believe it's a week and a half and we'll be at the end of the month and into February. This has gone really quick. Anyway, hope you're all good. I said yesterday I was going to talk a bit about wages. I hope this all sort of makes sense, and again it's probably aimed at people that are thinking about coming into the industry or are fairly new into the industry, or after a brief period of trying it alone, trying to decide which way to jump next. And this was brought about at the weekend. I saw an advertisement for Class 1 HGV drivers. Now obviously if you're going to be a Class 1 HGV driver, you've got to take your test, which is now going to cost you a couple of £1,000 at least. Do your CPC, Certificate of Professional Competence. I think there's 5 exams now, which you have to do over every 5 years. Do one a year or all in one block, whichever you want to do. And this advert was trying to recruit drivers for traction work. For those who don't know what that is, it's a unit, articulated unit, picking up trailers from the dock that have been sent over from abroad unaccompanied. And the work was out of Felixstowe, Harwich, Dartford and Tilbury. And I cut this right down. Basically they were offering £19 an hour for day work, £21 an hour for night work, and if you stayed in the truck, which is called a night out for those that don't know, there was a one-off payment of £25 per night, which is a pretty bog standard night out charge. So if you did 10 hours as a day driver there, you get £190, get the gist. And I wonder whether that is sort of bog standard going rate. So I spoke to a very good friend of mine who runs his own transport company very successfully, won't name him for obvious reasons. Asked him about what he pays his drivers, and his Class 1 drivers earn £185 a day, with the night out money also at £25. And he caveated that by saying that normally his drivers can be away for anything up to 3 months and they're paid every day. So he gave me an example. At the moment he's got 6 drivers down in Barcelona that arrived on Sunday night, that are unloaded on Monday, and they're reloading starting on Thursday evening, finishing off Friday, and then they're off to Frankfurt. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week they're not required to actually do any work, and because of that they've been put up in a hotel. They'll be paid their daily rate, but they won't be paid their night out money because they're in a hotel and they're being fed and watered by the hotel. So if you look at that, £185 a day plus your night out money, it's £1,300 to £1,500 a week. Good money. Now what I wanted to do was translate that over to van driving, because obviously as for all of us that are self-employed courier drivers, we've got our set expenses, and then we really try to earn as much money as we possibly can to make it pay, and that varies. We know January is a quiet month, and hopefully February we will earn at least 10% more than January, and March will earn another 10% more than February, and so it goes on to our good months of June, July, September, October, November. But I had a look at what you would expect to earn as a van driver for a company. Now again, like truck driving, there's a whole raft of different jobs you can do driving a truck. You could be a car transporter, petrol tanker, just general daily haulage, and there's all sorts of different things you're expected to do within that. So if you deliver a truck to Aldi or Lidl, one of the reasons they're very cheap as a supermarket, they don't have flashy supermarkets. They also don't have a lot of warehouse staff. So when you get there and you reverse your truck onto a bay, you hand your keys to the staff and they hand you a nice electric pump truck, and you unload all the pallets yourself and put them in the area that they've designated you to put them in. That for me is a lot of work. But anyway, going back to vans. So again, there's lots of different van work. And I've been looking bog standard, and certainly the southeast, it seems to be £120 a day, £130 a day. So that's £600 a week if you do a 5-day week, 700, maybe a bit more if you do 6 days a week. is that the sort of money that we're looking to clear as owner drivers, that £120 a day? I'd like to think so. I think that sort of figure is going to be a struggle time you pay all your expenses, fuel and all your bits and pieces, just doing the courier exchange. So again, it's another good plug for having your own customers. But I thought it was an interesting comparison, sort of 50% more for being a truck driver than a van driver. Anyway, yeah, that's just something I wanted to sort of touch on. Obviously, those sort of payments for van drivers may fluctuate around the rest of the country. I'm not having a go at the north, but that may be slightly lower. That may be 100, 110, providing it stays within the minimum wage payments. I don't know, it's just something it came across, and I just did a little bit of research on. Anyway, right, on to today. I mentioned yesterday I fancied a little bit of a run. I haven't done one probably a good month or so since I went to Hereford, and most of the work I do is not town work, but congested A roads, I think, and it does the van good to get out and have a little bit of a blow every now and again. When I was a taxi driver, we used to have quite a few problems with DPF filters. They got clogged up because we just spent all day sitting in traffic in London, and the mechanics always said, just take it at night on the M25, give it a good blowout, and it should cure the problem. And I think the same with the van. It does it good just to get out now and again and have a little blow. So that's what I was looking for. I've mentioned before, I struggle to get jobs from Colchester and those surrounding areas to sort of Manchester and Liverpool. They're sort of 200 odd miles, and even if I go £1 a mile, which is cheap really, I don't get those jobs. I don't know why. It's not your feedback, but it just don't get those jobs. But there was a job that came up yesterday, and as soon as I saw the job, I knew exactly where it was going from, and I knew exactly where it's going to. And that sort of relates to a bit about own customers, and I won't do that today. I'll put that off till tomorrow and talk about that then. Anyway, I put a price of it. It's a small van job. It's 175 miles, and I put a price of £175 on it, £1 a mile for a small van. So I think that's okay. I think that's about okay. And it's always interesting because with this job from Harwich to Grimsby, the 170 miles is like the shortest way, which sort of takes you off the A14 up through Norwich, A47 Kings Lynn, and imagine it's then up through Boston that way. The way I went, and the way is more logical maybe, is to stay on the A14, go up the A1, A46, whatever is it, A15, and then the A180, M180 into Grimsby. But that's 40 miles longer, of which I'm not really getting anything for. Time-wise, the sat-nav this morning was saying the shorter route, mileage-wise, was going to be 1 minute quicker. And I thought, no, I'm going to stick with the A14, A1. I want to give the van a bit of a blowout. So let's be consistent with movement. Let's not keep stopping at roundabouts and traffic lights and possible queues of traffic on some of the pinch points on that route. Anyway, the job originally was 9 o'clock, and when the shipper phoned me, he said you can pick it up from 6. So I said, well, I'd like to be there at 7 if that's all right. So that was agreed. Turned up this morning dead on 7 o'clock once I dropped the wife off in Colchester. It was just one pallet. It was just specialist packing material that had to be returned. Very, very light. I think the pallet probably weighed more than the actual packaging. Off-site 7:15. I'd already mentioned to the shipper I won't have had any breakfast when I've picked that up, so I'm going to have a little stop for some breakfast before I get on the road, and he was fine with that. He said, as long as you're in Grimsby for 2:30 latest, which is when they close, he doesn't have a problem. So picked it up this morning. I was off-site 7:15. Harwich is quite good now. It's got quite a lot of places outside the port now. It wasn't in the port, it was just outside the port, but there's Starbucks, there's Greggs, there's McDonald's, there's KFC, there's Morrison Supermarket, there's Aldi, loads of places to stop and get food. So I did stop at the Greggs. Doggy's with me today. he wanted his obligatory sausage. So we had our breakfast for about 15-20 minutes and got on the road at 20 to 8. We were hoping to do this in about 4 hours, but we had a hold-up accident on the A12 just before Ipswich, and then on the A14 there was one little shunt that held us up, and something had happened on the other side of the A road, which meant everybody was stopped and looking. I think it was just a breakdown, but it held us up. So we probably lost about half an hour, got on site at 12:15. Off site in 5-10 minutes, no problem at all, 12:20. We had our lunch, so we parked up by the lovely Grimsby Fish Market amongst all the seagulls. Dog had a little walk and I had a little walk just to stretch the legs. Had our lunch, had a look on the CX. There was a few jobs, there was quite a few jobs actually from Hull, especially staying around the North, Leeds, Wakefield, other bits and pieces. They're not really any interest to me. I don't see the point in doing those sort of jobs that keep me further away from home as the day drags on. There was a lovely job from Hull going down to Plymouth for a large van. Perfect for these guys, yourself maybe, who don't mind staying out, and especially this time of year when hotels like Premier Inn and Travelodge are so cheap. Some of them you can almost get for 20 quid, £25 a night. That would have been a great job, but it wasn't for me. Nothing going back down towards Essex, Suffolk, Cambridgeshire. Thought I'll keep the feed on and have a look as I go down, see if I can pick something up. In the past I've picked something up around Peterborough, but I wasn't overly bothered because it's a 4-hour journey to get back home, and yeah, I just thought as well, I've just really fancied a run out today and keep it nice and simple. So I think that's what I'm doing now. It's just what are we now, just gone 2:30 I think. Nothing's come up. I've just won a job for tomorrow as well for the morning, for pick up in Colchester. So I don't think I want to give myself any headaches. I think I'm just going to head home and I'll be indoors for about 5:15. So just the one job today, £175, but take out the standard expenses, take out my fuel, I'm roughly probably going to clear £100. Which, yeah, on the scheme of things, it's not too bad. As I say, the van's had a nice run out today, a nice steady run for 400 miles. That'll probably do it more good than harm. Anyway, I've got a job for the morning, as I say, so I'll give you a shout tomorrow. Hope everything's been okay your end, and we'll speak tomorrow. All the best. Cheers, Paul.